Hey y'all, it's Nancy the Handy Scandy. Welcome back for another crafty venture. Thanks for joining me for this one last video for 2023. And I am hoping that 2024 brings us a feeling of being renewed and at peace. So that is where my heart is as I make this card tonight. And I hope and pray that for all of us. The last few years have not been easy. Obviously, they have some joyful moments within them. It's never always bad, but sometimes the bad is just heavy, however much of it there is. So again, hoping for a year of feeling renewed and at peace. So I'm starting out my process with some watercolor card, and I stamp out this beautiful image with a hybrid ink because I'm going to be doing some watercoloring and I don't want anything to smear or smudge. So you can see that I am making small marks all throughout the image with this speedball pen. It is called the Elegant Writer, and this is the 2.5 millimeter size. So you don't want a lot of this, but you want it kind of in strategic places. And the fun thing about this particular ink, the characteristics and the qualities, is that as water hits it and it kind of bleeds and blends and blossoms, it does so in shades of blues and purples and pinks. And when you do the vintage watercolor technique, you actually stamp in a brown water reactive ink, like a distress ink or something like that, and the brown mixes with all these other colors and it's just stunning. Well, this time I did not want my image to bleed, so that's why I chose the hybrid ink, so that the colors of the actual inked image, stamped image, would not blend. But I wanted those colors, the pinks and the blues and the purples, I wanted those to bloom and blossom. And I didn't feel like I was getting quite enough color, so I'm coming back in again with the Elegant Writer, but only in certain places. But this does the trick. This gives me that color and that contrast that I was looking for. And you'll notice that I'm leaving that snowbank white. I'm not adding any of this pigment to that. And the little bit that I do put on the line, I pull the color below the snowbank. Now some of it bleeds up in there a little bit, but that doesn't make me mad. That's just kind of part and parcel of what we do. But keep in mind that this will bleed wherever you have water. It will move. The water is the path, and it's going to follow that path. So if you have puddles, it will puddle. If you create kind of a stream, it will follow that stream. And I love the irregularity of it. I love that in some places there's more purples and there's more pinks and some of it's deep blue. And while this paper is still wet, I am using the Elegant Writer ink. You can see I scribbled it out, but I'm using it to make some splatter. And where the paper is mostly dry, it's actually splatter, but where it is still wet, it blooms. And I love those different textures that makes, and the different, the intensity of the color as well. And now here I've pulled out my starry colors, and I'm using, I don't know which number it is, to be honest. These have been moved, and they're not in any order anymore. But I'm used the kind of a white pearlescent to color in the snowbank. And then I use some gold and some pink, and here I've got some purple of the watercolor, and here is an intense kind of a blue-green. And again, just adding splatters here and there. And now my style isn't for everyone. I know that. And for some of you, it's like I went way overboard. I get it. But that's okay. If you decide to make this or something like it, you stop whenever you stop. Our sensibilities are different. Our artistic aesthetics are different. You go with what you like, with what pleases your eye. For me, I'm a more is more girl. If you've known me for any amount of time, you know that about me. But yes, please, just do what makes your heart happy. Now, I did a little bit of partial die cutting there. You could see, I love to do that. In retrospect, I kind of wish that I would have used a different rectangular die to do that, and I'll show you when we get there. But I love that was a nice clean edge. And then of course I'm using the excess paint that was on my brushes to create some added texture to the background, and I used a couple of the background stamps from Whimsy Stamps. And of course, I'll have everything linked and listed downstairs in the description box. But here you can see that I used a different rectangle die. I used the Sprinkles Scallop Rectangle die, which is one of my favorites. You guys have seen me use this one a bunch of times. I love it. It's delicate, but at the same time, it's just enough. So I almost wish that I would have made that flat edge scalloped to coordinate with the scallop stitch or yes, this one. So I wanted this gray cardstock, this panel, to coordinate with my stamped image. So that's why I added that pearlescent white paint to the whole thing. And then you saw me use that background stamp. That's the Vintage Script background stamp. And I stamped it down while the paint was still wet. And so it lifted the paint and it created that beautiful script texture. It's very, very subtle. You barely see it once it's dry, but excuse me, but it's kind of a fun, unexpected something, extra something on there. And some of you are thinking it didn't need any extra somethings. But the background was almost flat compared to the actual circular panel. So I just thought it was something fun. And again, it's very, very subtle and it's very slight. And then once you add the circular panel over the top, you see very little of it, to be honest. And again, if this is too much for you, that's okay. It doesn't offend me. We have different sensibilities and it's okay. So I'm stamping out my sentiment. Let us feel renewed and at peace. There's also a beautiful winter solstice stamp in there, and that was kind of what I was going for in the beginning, but then I realized we're just too far past solstice and New Year's is just around the corner. So I also use the beautiful and my favorite frame labels die sets, and there are two different shapes, as you can see right there on the screen. The elk is cut out in a very different shape than the sentiment, but they're both beautiful, and there are a variety of sizes of both of those. So I love it. Now on the lid of the bottle, on the very bottom, there's a smudge, and you can't see that in all angles. It's that white pearlescent paint, and I don't know how or when it got smudged, and I didn't even see it until video production. But there you can see it bright and bold right there. But when the light's not hitting it in just that specific angle, you just don't see it. So it doesn't make me mad. I wish that I had a different picture of it, but it is what it is. And again, crafting is real life, right? And I encourage you to go ahead and hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you hit that button and the notification bell, because today is December 31st, 2023. It's New Year's Eve, and I'll be going live either today or tomorrow, and I'd love for you to join me. But you got to hit that subscribe and notification so that YouTube will tell you. In the meantime, y'all, this is Nancy, the Handy Scandy. Happy New Year. Prayers and wishes for feeling renewed and at peace. Mwah. Until next time, I'm out.